Hey guys, welcome back to Team Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're going to be looking at our comments from March up till now. So this is April 6th. So if you put a comment in that I wanted to highlight between the last comments video and now, it might be in this video. So starting with Johnny Stevens 259. This was on my community post for what is your favorite level 7 Digimon. Mine was Zwart Defeat, and he says, I always wanted to stick it in Lugamon, being able to spam the board with bodies and then dropping this on top of Fenrir to pop out 2 Hellugers for draws and pops is pretty nice, but it's kind of a win more card. That's how I feel about Zwart Defeat in general. I've never played this card when I'm behind and had it bring me back, except for when I first started playing the game in like BT 9 format. I used to play it to drop some like level 4 blockers, and that was before there was a lot of ability to like pop small bodies, and it would like kind of stop you from losing the game. But in this state of the game, small bodies don't last. This just burns 6 memory. There's not really a way to make it cheaper, and then you just kind of lose. So yeah. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, Kaizu. Is this a good deck for beginners on my Double Typhoon upgrades video? The Double Typhoon starter is fantastic for upgrades. It's great for beginners. I think it's a great entry point into the game right now. Either this or the Beelzemon starter. I think this deck is way easier to play than Beelzemon. You kind of have 2 routes you can go with it, either with just Alliance and Rookies and swinging that way, or just going up into your 4s and getting the cheeky Blast Days down. So I think this is great. I think there's some good room for improvement and skill expression, and I definitely recommend you pick up a copy or two to get into the game. So on my post for what is your least favorite deck to play against, Shape of 4 says Security Control, definitely. And I agree, Security Control is not fun. I play the game to do my cool, silly little combos and to digivolve and say, haha, look at these interactions that I've crafted with my brain, and they're super cool. And Security Control says, wow, that's great. I'm glad you spent 8 cards doing your funny little thing, but what if I just played Chaos Degrade and it went in your security and you didn't get any of that cool little combo? And then you're sad. And I don't play card games to be sad, unfortunately. I play them because they make me happy. So, you know, Security Control for me is that. I know people had different decks. Somebody said Machine Dramon, which is fair. I've never had to play against it, so I wouldn't know. Anyways, on Suspend the Board, BT15 Rosemont X Kite says, great video. I'm new to Digimon TCG, but this deck looks so interesting. I can't wait to play since this deck is so gas. Green is kind of gas. Yeah, it's tons of fun. Rosemont X does go hard. It's not super meta, but I think this is also a fantastic game deck to start playing with. It's pretty easy. It's super straightforward. You just go up into your stack, and then you say, you can't do a thing, and wait and see how they respond. And while they're responding, you build another stack. So very straightforward, very simple, lots of explosive potential, tons of fun. Definitely recommend it. Pride Main Gaming on my updated profile, EX5 Chaos Gallantmon deck profile says, how was testing with this version gone so far? Bad. That deck is super casual. I have since kind of taken it apart. I took out my Chaos Gallantmons because I built like a BT16 Gallantmon OTK deck that just uses that Cerberusmon X engine that I posted about in order to OTK, and you can kind of do it with like any level 6 purple that can either unsuspend or spit out an extra body. So that's what I was doing. And when I took out my Gallantmons, my Chaos Gallantmons, I put in Megidramon and the Megidramon, sorry, EX2 Megidramon, and it doesn't feel fantastic. I think that deck is just gonna sit on the shelf while we wait for the Megidramon Ace and the Gallantmon Crimson Mode Ace. I did try leaving it as it is and then slotting in the Crimson Mode Aces and the new Takatos, and it still just felt like it was missing something. So I think once BT17 rolls around, I'll cook with that deck a little bit more. I think you really have to figure out, am I indexing into mill or am I indexing into popping things? And it's kind of hard because Megidramon Ace doesn't actually play well with the EX4 Chaos Gallantmon because Megidramon Ace doesn't technically delete itself. It gets tucked back under a Guilmon, which means that it doesn't fulfill the condition for EX4 Chaos Gallantmon to come out on board, which means that you can't delete your Megidramon Ace to get Chaos Gallantmon on board and keep a Guilmon on board. So you can't really run the 2 cards together, and Megidramon Ace doesn't index into milling in the first place. So you're just kind of like, if you want to go mill, you're either not running the card or you're not running EX4 Chaos Gallantmon, and I think EX4 Chaos Gallantmon is just a really powerful tool to run in mill. So that's where that's at. Maybe I'll get back around to it in the future, but for now it's just on the shelf. Shape of Force says, you gotta do something about this lighting, man. It would be so much better if we could see the cards. Good video for the rest for Dorogoramon versus Prince Mamamon. And you are correct. We stopped recording those gameplay videos because our lighting was bad. God, that was forever ago. It feels like forever ago. That's maybe 2 months old. But we didn't really know what we were doing recording wise. We hadn't figured out lighting. My playmate wound up getting a new webcam and getting like ring lighting and fixing his lighting for when we play on webcam. It would definitely be probably better to watch now, but those types of videos also just don't get a lot of views, unfortunately. So it's hard to justify making them because it's also kind of a pain to edit and record and set up, and it takes forever to render them and get the security counters put on screen. So that's kind of on the shelf for now too. I would love to do more gameplay, but it's just kind of not worth it right now when it's going to get 20 or 30 views for a lot of render time, which really bricks up my computer. I can't really do much while it's rendering. So Foxy Grandpa BT15 Gigimon, Jake Hollingworth says, I have a request, BT15 Waymon. I failed you. I could not cook with it. If I listen, Plesiomon X is not great, and King Waymon is debatably not good. So if Plesiomon X doesn't really work, it's really, really, really tall ask to make King Waymon work. So I didn't. I apologize. Sorry. I mean, I could probably like make some really, really bad profile that's like, oh, just for funsies. But even with most of my just for funsies decks, I like to make sure that they can win a little bit. And King Waymon just doesn't seem like that. So, sorry. Digipanda on my retrains, top 5 cards that need retrains, says, love this, you're 100% right on these cards. I was actually exploring this topic. Shamefully, it feels like Digiburst just disappeared. It sure did, man. And that's tragic. I would I would love if we had Digiburst back. Make it, when Digivolving, Digiburst, give it a really strong effect so that it justifies only being able to activate it once or twice. And then we're good. And that's also the trade-off is you lose inheritables. So you get a really strong effect and you lose something for it. And I think that's fair. And I think it would be fun and good. But alas, they will not because Digiburst is bad. As we all remember, this is a stacks game. You need your inheritables. So it's too bad. So sad. Sucks for us. Chris Chirigasanani, I'm sorry. On my Raid Everything BT15 Marsmon deck profile, it says, I've never heard of Marsmon before in my life, but now I am hooked. I'm definitely going to try this deck out. I love Marsmon. When I remembered Marsmon existed, it was because my friend said, I want to build a red deck. We had another friend who was playing Jesmon. He's like, maybe I'll just build Jesmon. Because that's like the good red deck, right? Besides War Greymon, we all hate War Greymon. I was like, no, we don't want to, let's not double dip on each other's decks. Like, we only have like 3 of us playing the game. It kind of feels like a waste if 2 of us are playing the same decks. So I was looking through all the red boss monsters, going set by set, saying, what is in this set? And then I saw Marsmon. And I had the thought before that I wanted to make a deck for each of the Olympus 12 because I really like Minervamon. I'm like, okay, well, I know we have Marukimon, we have Minervamon, we have Venusmon. We have Marsmon too. And he's super cool. And he's really actually not bad. Like, we can spit out tamers pretty easily. You have the Shine Greymon engine that spits out Marcus's. We have the Bird engine now that also kind of works with beasts. So you can put tamers down like pretty dang easily. And then you Digivolve into them. And realistically, if you have a training on board, you're Digivolving for 2. If you had something that plays you a tamer and then the Garudamon Ace, you can have 2 tamers on board when Marsmon comes out. So you're going to Blitz. If you raid, you get 2 memory back. So you're effectively Digivolving for 0 into a raid. And if you have Grappleomon in the stack, you trash the security. And then there's ways to put Piercing on the stack. Like, you can just do so much with this boss monster, and he feels truly like kind of a red toolbox card. And I like it. I like what you can put around him. I like the BT8, BT9 Zhuquaomon. The BT14 War Greymon feels really great in this deck. And I just think it's fun, and it's refreshing, and it's a great deck. I definitely recommend you guys try him out. On the same topic, Gurren Raider says, potentially useful note. I was trying to avoid this in the last comment because I didn't want to spoil it. RB1 Betel Gamamon is a red vaccine that drops BT8 Hero on Digivolve. This gets you a tamer and a quick 8k raid, 11k over Bearmon, as early as turn 2, and the hero lets you Mars raid over a bunch of annoying mons. I am going to try this. I recently slotted out my Bearmons for 3 starter deck, 1 Greymons, and 1 Agunimon, because we have so many tamers, I think you just have to run the hybrids. It just doesn't make sense not to. And I had a lot of games in testing where I was 1 security away from winning, and that really would have helped. So I definitely want to try the Battle Gamamons. I don't know. I might just slot out the ST1 Greymons, but also they seem really good, so I don't know where I would make room for that. Maybe I cut another level 4 because it does play Tamers. I probably could drop the blocker birds. And the Sora that plays you back a body doesn't really come up as much, so I'd probably drop the Soras, put in the heroes, and then drop my blocker birds for the Fatal Gamamon. And then I would probably switch my egg from the Yokomon, since I'm not running the Sora anymore. I'd run some kind of draw power egg or DP boosting egg, something like that. But I did want to include this comment because I think it's relevant, and if you want to play the deck, you should consider that because it's really, really good, and it's a great idea because now you can guarantee 2 Tamers on board when Marsmon comes out. Even if you Digivolve for 4, you're going to get 2 memory back, and now you've Digivolve for 2, and you can play Extend and all kinds of stuff. So, great comment. Thank you for that. On my core TCG regionals video for my Minervamon deck list, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Chris Chira, not Chris, says, good luck, I'm sure you'll do Mario proud. I hope I did. I don't know how emotionally invested he was in it. I mean, I did one coaching session with the guy. I wouldn't expect him to be like, oh yes, this is my protege, and he's going to do great things. You know, it was super casual. It was like, hey, can you help me out? And he was like, sure, you know, pay the coaching fee and we'll do whatever. And we did. And I posted about it in his Discord. He asked me to link the video. So, you know, he knows about it. He saw it. And I felt like that was support enough, him asking me for the link publicly so that people in his Discord server could see it and direct views towards my channel. You know, for me, I feel like this was a great situation. And, you know, I hope he feels some kind of satisfaction that he coached someone on a really rat garbage tier deck and they got 84th out of 384. So, you know, top 20 something percentile. Lastly, I believe this is the last one. Yep. On my regionals review, Aspol says, I will have my first regionals in Barcelona this June. And yeah, this is going to be pretty much my same fears, even from the perspective that I can go to locals every week. I'm building lots of decks, but very few are the ones I feel comfortable to play, and they aren't even meta like Rosemon or Sakuyamon. I don't know how meta those are, but anyways. I'm following your steps with Minervamon, actually. It's a fun deck. I can win 2 to 3 on locals, and I'm having a really good time with the deck. But when BT16 will hit, I will be completely lost. I will probably change to Magnamon X, but at the same time, I don't feel it's my kind of deck since it's based on the card is no brain, and it's hard to respond. Yeah, I feel the same way. BT16 is not my jam, let me tell you. I playtested Tyrant Kabuterimon, and it's good. It's very good. And I feel like an asshole when I play it. It's just not. I don't think very hard. I'm just like throwing out bodies. My Tyrant can't be affected by anything. It's really hard to swing over Tyrant Kabuterimon if you don't know. And it just sits there, and it's a problem. And I feel like the only thing that's better is Magna X, because Magna X is going to out all the bodies around you on Tyrant Kabuteri and trigger overflow, and then they're going to do crazy things, and they're probably going to win just because their board is bigger and they're unaffected by things. So I think Magna X is probably the deck to beat. And personally, I don't have an interest in playing. Oh man, it feels bad to say it, right? But like, can you consider boss monsters that are unaffected by things to be difficult decks to pilot? Like, to me, that is not fun. It is not interesting. It is not challenging. Like, I'm going to play the deck, and if you don't have the out, you don't have the out. And that feels a lot to me like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of that. And I'm not interested in just steamrolling people with the best deck. That's the reason why I took Minervamon to regionals. I just didn't want to play something really, really, really good and just like steamroll people. That's not satisfying. I want to think. I want to use my brain and find outs and be creative and express myself through a less than conventional deck. And those two decks they don't do that for me. And I feel like if you're not playing those decks, well, you've put yourself in a really bad spot. BT16 Imperial will be crazy because it bounces things to hand like nobody's business. I think Nume is still probably going to be good, but it's also going to be hard for Nume to do anything because Tyrant Kabuteri and Magna X, I believe, both redirect in some capacity. So, like, what do? I know Magna X has DP reduction on it, too, so how's Nume going to function? Leviat X won't do jack diddly when you can't target. Just all kinds of things. The meta is just not conducive to me having fun. So, I'll probably be strictly casual. I'll probably play my BT15 decks, but, good luck. I hope you figure something out. I hope you have some kind of deck that you like playing that keeps you interested in the game. I'm going to just close my eyes and hope that the set passes really quickly. BT17 I'm more interested in because there's Gallantmon, there's the new Dexter Goramon stuff that I'm super interested in. But yeah, so that is it for this comments video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment, maybe you'll show up in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.